And hello there. I think we are live. Let's see here if, yeah, this is about as good as it gets when it comes to video quality, at least. Let's see if I can move the camera a little bit closer. Okay. Yeah, so a little bit of practical information. First of all, you have to be a subscriber to join the chat. And as this is a sensitive topic, I will ask kindly that you stay respectful and kind, if you can, in the chat. So what I will do is that I will get straight to the point here, and I will talk about the heathen perspective on abortion. I will then take a look at the chat. Now, here's how this works. I will do my best to keep an eye on your comments in the chat, but if you really want me to see your chat, there is a way to do that. You can give me a super chat. I kind of hate to say that because it will cost you some money, and I feel like it's kind of wrong to make money on a topic like this one, but that's how it works here on YouTube, just so that you know. Okay. So, Roe versus Wade. The overturning of Roe versus Wade. Excuse my English. As far as I know, and I've looked into this now, it means that in the USA, abortion is no longer a right that you will be given by the country itself. I think that's what you call a federal right or law. It has been moved to the individual state so that each state will decide how liberal their abortion laws or abortion access shall be. Now, I'm not a legal expert, but as far as I can tell, that's what people are writing, so that a state can say that we will give abortion rights up to week, for instance, 8, or up to birth. So that's what I have from what I've read about this. That's what I can say. I think that's how it is. So it's not like many people are saying now that the USA has taken away women's right to abortion. That's not correct. But anyway, it seems like most people who are supporting this, and most people who are saying that they are against abortion, are Christians or people of a Christian faith. I'm not a Christian. Maybe you know already. I am. If you asked me and I had to give an answer, I would say, I guess you could call me a Norse heathen or just heathen. So I will give you the heathen perspective on this, and it might surprise some of you, and it might disappoint some of you, and I am pretty sure it will make some people hate me. That's how it is, and that's okay. Heathenism is a celebration of life. It is a celebration of nature. And in all pagan religions, if you will, you will see that motherhood is celebrated. The miracle of birth is celebrated, and it's closely connected to nature, and we as individual beings are in heathenism closely connected to nature. We are nature. So there are also a few concepts that is important that we are aware of. Sin is not a heathen concept. It doesn't mean anything to me. That does not mean that I can't separate between good and bad, right and wrong. Of course I can. But sin as a religious concept doesn't mean anything to me. So I just want to make that clear. Now, from what I've already said, I'm sure that you can understand that heathenism is not really very supportive of abortion. I know, that's not what most people would think, but I will tell you why. When the Christian faith was spread around the world, especially in Europe, it was done mainly with threats and violence. And what they also did was that the monks, mainly, they wrote about the peoples that they encountered. And of course, they did not want to make them look, the horrible pagans. They didn't want them to look, they wanted to make them look bad. Okay, so they would make up lots of stories, and most of them are too horrible. I can't mention that here on YouTube, but the killing of little children was a common thing. The monks wrote that, oh, these people, they killed their little children, and so on and so on. We must understand that's probably something that these monks made up. It doesn't fit the pagan belief systems that they encountered, because, as I said, now there is a difference between paganism and heathenism, but as I'm trying to explain now, the heathen perspective on abortion is that it's not a good thing. Now, I'm not finished yet, so I'll get to. I have more to say about this, but mainly it's not. It's something that we don't want. If we can avoid it, we don't want abortion. We want all children to be born and have a wonderful life, and it's really that simple. Now, I will never condemn any woman who has had an abortion. You will never hear me call a woman who has had an abortion anything bad. I will not do that. And why is that? It is because I understand that we live in a society where people don't get correct information about what an abortion is. I think that if they did, there would be a lot less abortions. And on a personal note, I will say this, and this is my personal opinion. I disagree with the thing that they did in the USA now, where they say that it's up to each and every state to decide on their abortion laws, abortion access, and so on. Because at least there should be an upper limit. Because you have states, and you have to, if I'm wrong on this, you have to tell me, please. I'm not sure. I'm sure you will, but I've checked, and there are states in the USA where abortion is legal up to birth, That the first time I heard that, I thought, no, that can't be true. You know, that's just some internet rumor. Can't be true. It seems like it's true, and it horrifies me. It horrifies me. And I'll tell you what that is. It is murder. Yeah, you're killing a human being. And you can go in circles, endless circles around this, and call it something different. And you will have the people screaming in the streets, um, and all that, as they are doing now, having a hissy fit. Um, but if you support, and I'll say this, if you support, now we're talking about cases, and again, if I'm wrong on this, and I hope I am, but then I'm sorry. But if it is like this, that in some states in the USA, it is legal to have an abortion up to birth when there is no health issues. You know, that there are tragic cases, I understand, tragic cases where you pretty much, you know, yeah, health issues. I understand, you know, and I won't get into that because I'm not a doctor. But if it's legal in some states in the USA to have an abortion on a healthy child up to birth, I mean, then you can't say that you live in a civilized country if that's legal, because that is murder. It is. Or I don't know, manslaughter or murder, legal definitions, I don't know, but you're killing a human being. There can be no doubt about that, and it horrifies me. So I'm just, you know, I'm just some guy in Norway. We don't have that liberal abortion laws here, and I I'm a father, family father, and I don't really, you know, this topic is not, it's not something that people talk about much, you know, in my circle of friends, if you will. But I've heard I've never heard anyone supporting this, and it's it horrifies me. So the heathen perspective on this is that we must do what we can to minimize the number of abortions, because, you know, and I'm not talking about the cases, the tragic cases where there are health issues. I won't get into that because, as I said, I'm not a doctor. But when we're talking about a healthy mother, healthy um, um, child, uh, it's it should be, we must do what we can to minimize the number of abortions. Now, how do we do that? I don't know. Some say that if you just outlaw abortion completely, there will actually be more. I don't know, that people will do it in, you know, find other ways to do it, and that will jeopardize the life of the mother and so on. I don't know. It would be, I think it would be, the right thing to do there would be to look at the numbers and the research that has been done on that, and to find a way to create a society that welcomes mothers, single mothers as well. If that's the case, you know, uh, that young young women, maybe they think that I can't support this child. Well, I am sure when you look at the spending during the pandemic, I you know we know that they do have the money. So, and what can be more important than supporting someone who says that I will do my best to raise this child. What can be more important? Because children are the future. And also, and I've said this before, the children are more important than us. Yeah. So again, the heathen perspective on this is that we do not condemn, we do not judge people, because we understand that there is misinformation and a lack of information about what abortion is. And I do not believe in the concept of sin, but we celebrate life, we celebrate motherhood, we celebrate the miracle of birth, and we are part of nature. So that cannot be taken and understood as anything else than that we do not support this development that we're seeing now, where we're supposed to accept abortions up to birth. I mean, it's sick, it's sickening and evil. Now evil, that's a term actually that it's not really doesn't mean anything. Well, you could discuss that. That's a sidetrack here, but for in hedonism, good and evil, that's not really. It's kind of a modern concept, if you will. You could say, but anyway, I think I did say to myself, should I just keep my mouth shut on this? But then, because it will create a lot of hate. But what I don't think I've said anything here that is wrong. I think, except that if I misunderstand the legal issues over there in the USA, I am sorry. I hope I do, but just wanted to give you an insight into the heathen perspective on this, because it seems to me like it's only Christian people who are talking about this, or rather, should I say that it's only the Christian people who have the guts to talk about this, who have the courage to talk about it. I don't know, but I can tell you that a lot of people, or I would say most people, I would guess most people who are not in, who do not belong to the church of woke, they at least have a view on abortion that it should be restricted. It shouldn't be anyone's first option. It should, it should be, we should have something to offer these women, so that as a society, so that they will feel that they can actually give birth to this child, and yeah. And I will also say this, and I'll get to the chat now in a few seconds. When I worked as a therapist, I did talk to some female clients about abortion, not because it doesn't work like this. I want to talk about abortion with you. No, they come to me and they talk about their trauma connected to their abortion. That's quite common. So I can say this: I have met many women who regrets their abortion. I have never met any woman who regrets having her child born, if that makes sense, And it should be something that people should keep in mind. You know, yeah, okay. Let's see here. Okay. I'll get to the super chats first. Robert, thank you for the donation. That's very kind of you. Yeah, you could say we are at war. You know, well, there is a war in Europe, and also there is a culture war. And I think I know what you're talking about here. Let's see here. Lots of comments. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Robert says also, yeah, I can't read all. I usually read the super chats, but because of how it works with the algorithm here, some words I can't say, or I try to avoid saying them. Samuel, thanks a lot for the donation. You're saying that I do understand how it is. Yes, exactly. Media wants to demonize Christians, even though they aren't the only ones against the madness. And I will say this: it's some of the Christian people you see on TV and so on social media in the USA, they are easy targets because they are so extreme and they come across as extremely judgmental towards other people. And I've talked about this here in the Heathen Hangouts, and I know I've felt how that is, but I don't think that is representative for Christians. And I don't, and as you say here, Samuel, that they're not the only ones against this. Let's see here. Norse Agorist, well, thanks a lot for the donation. Okay. So I'm sorry, I can't go through all the comments here. It's I don't want to come across as someone who thinks badly about women who have had an abortion. As I said, there is a misinformation out there and a lack of information. And I will tell you this: when I was in school, now that was in the 70s and 80s, and I think we had like 1 hour on about these things, but I remember that the teacher, a female teacher, she said, because one of the girls said, but isn't that killing the baby? And the teacher said, no, it's just a lump of cells. And I was like, how maybe I was like 13, 14 years old, and I didn't think much about it, okay. Because you don't think about those things when you're that young. And I didn't really look much into it before I myself started thinking about starting a family and all that. And that was when I realized, wow, I've been lied to. I've been lied to all my life about this. Now, of course, I should have looked into it, but it's you can't. Yeah, and I take full responsibility on that. I didn't look into it, but so we should give kids proper information about this. That's a good place to start, I think, rather than calling them sinners and bad people and so on. We start with giving proper information to kids about this. And I've never been in a situation where I haven't really had to uh, witness, and well, I haven't been involved. I have this hasn't affected me personally, if you know what I'm saying, but I can relate to it, um so we shouldn't condemn anyone, but we should also not just accept what's going on now, because we should speak up against this. And I have to say this: they are in the streets screaming about things that I don't know how to find the right words. I think I've said it already. I am shocked at the reaction. That's all, you know. And also, it kind of it tells me that lots of people are really dumb. They are really dumb, and I've seen this as it doesn't only it affects lots of topics and society as a whole. People will rather feel something than gather the proper information before they form their opinion. They will rather just quickly join a tribe, if you will, join a tribe and start screaming and feeling a lot of feelings about something. And we do have journalists and people here in Norway, not all of them, but some who are saying that, oh, what they are doing in the USA is horrible, and so on and so on, and it's extreme and so on. And they are talking about, yeah, I don't know what to say about this. It's the point is that they are calling it extreme, but when they do that, they are forgetting that the laws concerning abortion in Norway are a lot more restrictive than in many states in the USA. So when they are saying that, they are actually saying that, well, we have extremely restrictive abortion laws in Norway. Uh, but that's not the common opinion. Most people, and I did see a survey about this. We did see most people do not in Norway do not support making extending or that period of time. And someone asked her how many weeks. Is it 12 weeks? 12 weeks, I think. Pagan Monk, welcome as a member. You now have access to the members only live streams. Let's see here. Well, thank you, Robert. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you to say. I think I saw all the super chats now. And I can't see trolls here. That's I'm sure there are some, but that's nice, you know. And Linda, as always, good to see you. Good to see you. Now, there isn't really much else to say about this because it's kind of, it is a sensitive topic, but it is also, I must say, when it is kind of, it's not complicated, you know. When we talk about, if we start talking about the medical issues, and in those cases where there are medical issues, then it becomes more complicated, of course. But as I said, I'm not talking about those cases. So again, you know, I will say that the heathen perspective, it might surprise some people, but we're not supportive of, we do not support saying to people that, well, you can just have an abortion at any time, that's your right. And I will say this as well. The slogan is "My body, my choice." It really isn't your body, is it? It's someone else's body. Or at least we can say that we're talking about not one body, two bodies. We're talking about two bodies. Because at some point you must be able to understand that the baby in in there, it is not your body, it is another body, right? So I hate that slogan because it's so stupid. It's so stupid. And I like it. I like honesty. I like things to be correct. I don't like lies, and I don't like being lied to. So being lied to, I'm referring to the information or misinformation we got in school. Canadian Spider-Man, welcome as a supporter. And I will say this again, I'm repeating myself here. I do not condemn anyone for having had an abortion. There is a lot of misinformation and lack of information out there. There is also a lot of group pressure. And I know for a fact that young girls, young women, they will have people around them, even their mother, trying to put pressure on them to make them have an abortion. And there are also, in many cases, the father, or the who would be the father, that guy who put pressure on the woman to have an abortion. Now, doing that, I promised myself I won't get into a rant here. But if there is anyone here listening or watching this who are trying to convince or put pressure on someone to have an abortion, I'll say this: that's evil. Yeah, it's simply evil. Now, I'm not talking about, there are cases where, it, not it's that there's a pill you can take, I guess, after the day after, or yeah, I think it's the day after. I don't know what it's called here, but we must be able to also realize that is much different from having an abortion in week 20. It's a huge difference there. It's not really the same, is it? But I'm talking about those people who are putting pressure on women to have an abortion after 8, 12, 16, 18, 20 weeks. you know what are you doing? That's evil. you know so, but anyway, let's see here. Okay. Yeah, and here's, I see some comments here. I've talked for half an hour, and that kind of means that it attracts people who are just here to stink up the place. But I will say this. You know what? There is something called responsibility. You have to be responsible, or take responsibility for your actions. And I hate to bring this to you. And if I'm the first one who are saying this to you, it's just a favor to you, okay? You will have to be you will have to take responsibility for your own actions. So you have to live a life where you kind of don't do too many stupid things. And if that means that you can't go out, get intoxicated, and do stupid things because you were intoxicated, well, you shouldn't get intoxicated then, should you? And if you do, it's your fault. And you have to take responsibility for that. And I'm sick and tired. Now I just paid my taxes. Just paid my taxes here. And I'll tell you what, for that amount of money, I could hire 2 people full time for a year. And so it's, I'm sick and tired of people who expect that the government is there to take care of them, or to fix things, or to clean up their mess. I'm sick and tired of that, because you know what that means? It means that other people are paying for you. Other people are paying for someone to clean up your mess. I'm sick and tired of that. We need to have a society where people are expected to take responsibility for their actions. And if you're 18 years old, you're an adult. If you're 18 years old, you can't go around behaving like a spoiled little brat. And you can't go around having, I'll just say the word, sex, with whoever you fancy for 5 minutes that one evening, and expect that that will be fine, because it probably won't. And we're not even talking about the emotional issues here, but there are consequences, and if you can't even understand how contraceptives work, then I mean, grow up. But anyway, I'm just sick and tired of these people, you see. I'm sick and tired of these people who go through life without contributing to anything, and they expect other people to clean up their mess, and they're just screaming like spoiled little brats in the streets when they don't get their way. I'm kind of I'm sick of those people. Okay, yeah, that's just how it is. Um, I have feelings too, believe it or not. So, um, yeah, I realize that if I can use such a stupid term, I'm on the team with you Christian people on this one. uh, and that's fine. That's wonderful, actually. And I think that this really has to do with understanding that we are part of nature. That's one aspect of this, but also it has to do with understanding responsibility. There is a reason why eh, we say that sex is actually illegal for people under a certain age. In Norway, it's 16 years, because when you're younger than that, you're considered to be too young to understand what that means and the consequences. Um, and I would say that even that is too young. Um, but at least at 18 years old, when you are in most Western societies considered to be an adult, with that comes responsibility. And I know I'm just a middle-aged, boring guy sitting here in Norway talking about responsibility, um, and I'm not, it's a I guess these people they would rather watch. I honestly don't know, pop singers, rappers, and things like that. That's a world I know nothing about, but I kind of suspect that they're not really talking so much about taking responsibility and boring stuff like that. But there is another aspect to this as well, and it's this: if you do take responsibility for yourself and your actions, you will have a better life. Because at the end of the day, just going through life like a spoiled little brat is not going to get you anywhere. You're not going to accomplish anything. And when you're gone, dead, that is, you will be forgotten. You know, you will just be one life out of billions and forgotten. Try to make a mark, try to have a positive impact on people around you and the world, you know. And I believe everyone can do that. Everyone can do that. So, yeah. Yeah, and this can be Josie there at Attack on the Family. This can be explained through you know what's sociology? Is that what they call it? It can be explained. You don't need any science degree, any 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 degree to explain what has happened here. The lack of present fathers, um, the constant push towards from pop culture towards a culture where anything goes, everything is okay, and they never talk about taking responsibility, do they? But again, I don't know. Maybe they do now. I probably not. I don't know anything about that part of modern culture, but it is a cultural problem. As I said, the lack of fathers, and I read somewhere that having children at a very young age. No, that was not it. having what was it? Single motherhood kind of is inherited by the next generation, seems like. You would have to double check that because I can't remember where I read it now. But certainly there is a cultural aspect to this, and we should try to fix that, you know. And I honestly think that there is no reason why promoting a lifestyle where there is no responsibility, it's all flashy people with dancing around with their ass out. That's not, you know, I don't think, honestly, that is better or more attractive to young people than, for instance, someone talking about taking responsibility, getting out in nature, uh, having pride in who you are, the potential within you, and things like that. But I don't know. I don't know. Okay. So, yeah, we're seeing a little bit of trolling here now. Um, so, yeah, that's okay. That's just how it works. But Leona, exactly. Animals need respect too. Absolutely. Jeff, if you want to know that, you should just scroll back to the beginning. Okay. Roy, no. No, when I'm saying troll, well, if your comment is there and I say troll, it doesn't mean that I'm referring to you, because I might, like I do now, I scroll up a little bit, you know. So don't take that personally. Uh, um, no, no, and some of those comments, I'm the only one who see them actually. Some of those, because they get um, deleted, but they will still show up for me, but not for you. So no, um, that's okay. And you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's is it like now? If you talk about, if you say like me, you know, I do not. Here's a statement. Here's a statement. I do not support abortion up to birth. It's like this. I can kind of 100% say that that's my opinion. And I will even say this: if you support when there is no health issues, okay. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not talking about um, those cases, but healthy child, and all that. And I will say this: if you support an abortion up to birth, there is something wrong with you. Uh, I don't know if we're talking about something wrong in the head, like are those people sociopaths or psychopaths? That I don't know. But I will say if you support that, there is something wrong with you. And I, so for me, you know, I will never say that I support abortion up to birth. Like, and I'm making a statement now that it should be like this: nobody should support that, right? And if you do, there's something wrong with you. I honestly think that there is something wrong with you, and or you are so stupid that you don't know where babies come from. Okay. And here's my question: is it like this now, that that statement that I just made, does that make me extreme? Does that make me a bad person now? Does it make me um is it like people in won't touch me in don't get that one wrong, in a uh, when it comes to business deals and things like that? Is that how it works now? Because I honestly don't know. But I will tell you this, I will never say anything else that I will never go back on that. And I've already explained the heathen perspective on this. The pagan workshop is there. Good to see you. Good to see you there. Um, and and it it baffles my mind because this has moved so quickly, and it was not long ago that the liberal stance on this was like this: it's a tragedy when it happens, an abortion that is, but it must be the woman's right to decide. That was a liberal stance, okay? And it kind of went from that to, no, you should just be allowed to have an abortion whenever you like, up to birth if you want to. That's and that went quickly, and it's scary how quickly that happened. Really scary, because yeah. Jeff, disabled children, in all the times. Yeah, that's it. It's so tragic. It's so tragic. In some cultures, there seem to have been a custom where they were not allowed to live. Not in all cultures. We can't really compare ourselves with those people in those times because many things were very different back then. When it comes to, it's very different because they couldn't do much to help those children in many cases. Um, so now we can do a lot of things to help those children. So, but anyway, yes, Roy, they used the term safe, legal, and rare. Now the rare part got thrown out. Um, and I really don't think that my stance on this is extreme or inhuman, like some people will accuse me of, because what I'm saying is I can't get my head around this concept, how people are supporting one, constantly extending the legal period of number of weeks for legal abortion, and also some people, number two, talking about, or in some states, as I understand it, that you can actually abort a healthy child up to birth, because, as I said, that is murder. That's what it is, and you can't. You can call it something else if you want, but it is murder. Um, let's see here. Yeah, okay. So I will finish this live stream very soon now. But I will say this. I think it's sensible to start telling the truth without judgment, condemnation, or anything. That just objective truth about what is an abortion, at week 8, 18, and so on. What is that? And I think that we need to have a system, at least the very minimum is that we must have a system where you must be given that information. And you must then have a number of days before you can actually have an abortion. I'm being very pragmatic here. I believe I'm being very pragmatic. And I'm trying just to be as sensible and kind of neutral to this as I can, because it's a huge decision, right? So you need to be given the information. Like I here's a sidetrack, but just to illustrate, I'm investing some money in the funds. Yeah. So and they go up and down, and since I don't have a crystal ball, it kind of I don't know, is this wise or not? And what I do is that I think about it for I look at a fund. Should I invest in this stock fund here or not? And I think about it for a couple of days before I do, or decide not to, and so a much larger decision like an abortion, you should be required to have a think about it for a couple of days at least. And also we should, as a society, make it much easier for people to have children financially. Now, I know some will say that there are people who will and who are taking benefit of such a system. And I'm sure that is true. And I don't know how to solve that. That's obviously not a good thing. But at least can we try to look at solutions there? There's also adoption, of course, and I'm just trying to say that can we try to make the whole system more geared towards having children, you know? So okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've seen some of the videos. I have, and I also looked into this a long time ago because I started suspecting that what I had been told in school was a lie, and it was a lie. Or actually, you could argue that no, it wasn't a lie, because saying, well, it's just a lump of cells, that goes for anyone and anything. Anything is a lump of cells, right? And I mean, a tree is a lump of cells. A human being is a lump of cells. We're made up of cells, you know. But of course, that was not what that teacher meant when she said that. And yeah, it You know, and I've learned this after having been on YouTube for a while. Um, if you try, like I often do, to have to have a moderate, a balanced and nuanced view, you will get haters from both sides actually. So and this will probably not be an exception. Um, but again, I don't point my finger at anyone. I because there is so much misinformation and lack of information. So maybe that's a good place to start. Maybe that's where we should start, to give everyone, not just women, but also boys and girls up in school should be given proper information about this, so that they know what it is, and maybe also, and I'll finish with this. Maybe we should try to have a more positive view of pregnancy, um, fatherhood, motherhood, especially fatherhood. Can we make fatherhood cool again? Um, just a thought, you know. I can tell you, if you're not already a father, I can tell you that it's wonderful. It really, I've talked about, especially on my main channel, masculinity. I think I will I will say this, that you don't really know what masculinity is before you become a father. Yeah, I know there are, you know, that's a bit provocative, I know, and you'll have to forgive me for saying that. I'm biased on that, and maybe I'm a little bit wrong, but you get my point here. Okay, it is, at least we can say, being a father is a very masculine thing, you know. But anyway, uh, so yeah, that's all for now. We'll see how this goes. We'll see if this live stream even stays up here. You know. Okay. Thank you all for all your comments in the chat. Thank you all for being wonderful people, because I didn't see many troll comments here. So that was wonderful. And thank you. Alistair, just saw you now. Good to see you as always. Okay. Have a wonderful day, and stay strong.